ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio, news, music and more.
A $1,300 scam snowballs into a $379 million court fight,
I am bloody ropeable.
leaving a single pensioner to take on one of Australia's biggest banks solo.
It's an eye for an eye.
Things need to be proportionate.
From a backyard in Bendigo all the way to the Supreme Court.
I'm a stubborn old turd and I will not give up.
Beef, the series by Background Briefing that investigates the small feuds that take on a life of their own. Hear it now on the ABC Listen app.
On the one side, there's a media tycoon. On the other, the President of the United States. It has all the makings of a fascinating courtroom drama. Donald Trump is suing Rupert Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal over an article alleging the US President sent a lewd birthday message to Jefferey Epstein in 2003. Today, media expert Rod Tiffen on the complex relationship between Trump and Murdoch and how the legal proceedings are likely to play out. I'm Sam Hawley on Gadigal Land in Sydney. This is ABC News Daily. Rod, we're going to have a look at the relationship between two of the most powerful men in the world. That is Donald Trump and Rupert Murdoch, which has dramatically re-entered the spotlight in the last few days. This revolves around a Wall Street Journal article, which is owned, of course, that newspaper, by Rupert Murdoch. Just tell me what this article alleged when it appeared in the paper last Friday.
Well, it alleges that Donald Trump years ago sent a birthday greeting to Jeffrey Epstein with a sketch of a girl on it.
Donald Trump launching yet another lawsuit against the press, this time targeting media mogul Rupert Murdoch and his News Corp empire over an article in the Wall Street Journal.
He denies writing the letter, which the Journal said included a sexually suggestive drawing and ended with the line, "Happy birthday and may every day be another wonderful secret."
The president dismissed the letter as fake, saying, "These are not my words, not the way I talk. Also, I don't draw pictures."
The paper says it happened in 2003, which is before Epstein was convicted. It's all adding to the pressure Donald Trump is under over his handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Now, as soon as this was published, Donald Trump threatened to sue. He said in a post on his social media platform, Truth Social, he was looking forward to getting Rupert Murdoch to testify in his lawsuit against him and, in Donald Trump's words, the pile of garbage newspaper. So Donald Trump was furious.
Murdoch has three main media outlets in the States. He has Fox News, which is unfailingly loyal to Trump. He has the New York Post, which swings around a bit. And he has the Wall Street Journal, where the market incentives are very different. The Wall Street Journal has to keep its credibility with a high-flying business audience. Otherwise, they'll go to the New York Times or Washington Post or somewhere. So the Wall Street Journal's coverage of Trump is typically more independent and more probing than, say, Fox News is. So I would imagine that Rupert didn't know this was going to appear before it appeared, because he's sort of, at 94 years old, he's more hands-off these days, and he doesn't actually have the role of chief executive anymore. But I think that the key thing is the Wall Street Journal has to keep up its credibility with its audience.
But just to put that in context, once upon a time, of course, Rupert Murdoch had great control over what was in these newspapers. He certainly would have been told beforehand if an article like this was to appear.
Yes, that's true. Certainly, let's say during Trump's first term, if this appeared, Murdoch would have known in advance. But I'm not at all sure that he knew this in advance.
All right, well, he's now involved in an almighty fight
Yes.
with the US president,
Yes.
who has indeed sued in the US District Court for the Southern District of Florida. So he's going all out, Donald Trump here.
Yes. I think the thing is, he's had a record of success since he was re-elected, Donald Trump. He's got a settlement from ABC and, CBS paid out a huge settlement for a case that had no substance at all.
Paramount has agreed to pay Donald Trump more than $24 million after settling a lawsuit over a televised interview with Kamala Harris. In the lawsuit, Mr. Trump alleged the media group deceptively edited an interview with the former Democratic presidential candidate on its 60 Minutes program on CBS.
And basically that was seen as its parent company, Paramount, wanting to do favours for Donald Trump. The Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, is leaning over backwards to be nice to him. I think the difference, though, is like Bezos is very keen to get government contracts for his space program, and CBS and ABC have other business interests which depend a lot on the favour and patronage of the president. And this president is all about favour and patronage. But Murdoch doesn't have that. So I'd be certainly very surprised if Murdoch settled anytime soon. It would be a huge step down in credibility. It would be a huge blow to his ego because he doesn't like giving in, surrendering on these sorts of things. And he doesn't have any ulterior motives and interests like the other major media corporations do.
All right, well, Trump is suing News Corp. He's suing Mr. Murdoch. He's suing News Corp's founder, Robert Thompson, News Corp's chief executive. He's suing Dow Jones, the publisher, and he's suing the two journalists involved. So there's a lot of people involved in this lawsuit, that's for sure.
All over a birthday card, yeah.
Oh, yes, but a rather damaging birthday card if the allegations are in fact true, and we are not insinuating that they are. But Trump is also after huge damages, not less than $10 billion, he says he wants.
Yes, I mean, it's serious, but it's very funny at the same time. The one thing that would make News Corp or make Murdoch settle is if Murdoch was forced to testify in court, because I think he's not really up to doing that anymore. And I think that would be the one threat that would make Murdoch settle.
All right, well, let's come to the history of this relationship in just a moment. As you mentioned, you don't think Rupert Murdoch will settle. The newspaper is absolutely sticking by its reporting. It's not removed the article. It's still up there for everybody to see. So it's backing in its own journalism at this point, isn't it?
It is. And one imagines they went through a pretty strenuous process before they published. I mean, this isn't a fly-by-night newspaper. It's one of the leading newspapers in America. And it wouldn't publish something like this without doing due diligence beforehand.
All right, let's get into the history of this relationship because it has been rather volatile, hasn't it? It's been interesting to watch Rupert Murdoch and his almost reluctance to back Donald Trump, but then sort of falling into line.
Yes.
Just tell me what it was like in the beginning, I guess back in 2016, during Trump's first pitch for the White House.
Well, the beginnings go back even further than that. Rupert Murdoch took over the New York Post in 1976, and Trump was an absolute publicity whore. He was always wanting to get into the paper, and they have a page 6 column, which is all gossip about politicians and celebrities and so on. And he often featured in that and was often a source for it. And he more or less divorced his wife in the pages of the New York Post. And they were willing to play the game because they thought Trump was good copy. But Murdoch saw him as just a lightweight, crooked property developer. So Murdoch was happy to give him publicity, but never had any high opinion of him, either morally or intellectually.
All right, but by 2016, he'd sort of come around, had he? He supported Trump.
Well, 2016, Fox News is locked into being on the Republican side of politics. And initially, Murdoch didn't think Trump would be a good candidate. But once Trump won the nomination for the Republicans, Fox News in particular, and all of the Murdoch empire actually, just fell in behind Trump. After the election, Fox News was a faithful outlet for Trump all through the next 4 years. But then we get to the 2020 election and Trump loses to Biden. And then we've got Trump refusing to accept the result. Got the terrible attack on the Capitol building on January the 6th, 2021. And Murdoch is absolutely appalled. He sees this as an attack on American democracy, American institutions, and he really can't stand the way Trump was behaving. At the same time, though, Fox News had created this audience that believed everything that Trump said. And after the election, Fox's ratings were falling. And in a panic meeting, Murdoch and others said, well, we've got to start going along more with Trump. And then they locked themselves into this false narrative that there was something fishy about the 2020 election. Now, Murdoch was reluctant to go along with this, and in fact, there's evidence of him saying he wants to make Trump history and all this sort of thing. But in the end, the commercial incentives are such that he toes the line. So you get to 2024, and Fox News is locked in behind Trump, and then, of course, Trump wins, and now the power relationship is all round the other way. Here's Murdoch wanting to be part of the action again and Trump saying, maybe, maybe not.
All right. Well, Rod, this relationship between Donald Trump and Rupert Murdoch is clearly volatile, but it really is at a new low right now. How ugly do you think this could get?
Well, Trump's not known for his subtlety. And we've already seen, I'm going to sue his ass and all this sort of talk. I think that it could get very ugly. It all depends a bit on how the Murdochs respond. And my guess is they will want to take the heat out of it a bit. But I think the Epstein stuff it's hard to know because, Trump has survived so many scandals that would have sunk any other politician. But it seems to me the Epstein stuff and the different excuses they've given for not releasing information and whatever, seems to be dividing Trump's MAGA base, and it could be that both sides think it's in their interest to keep, for all this to go away. But Trump's drawn a lot more attention to the article than it would have got, by all this. So if I was a spin doctor, I'd say this wasn't a very rational strategy, but maybe that's why I'm not a spin doctor. But I would think that it could get very ugly. And certainly I can't see the Wall Street Journal rolling over and saying, yes, we got it wrong.
And who do you think will be the victor then, Murdoch or Trump? We know, don't we, that when things proceed to court, all sorts of information might come to light.
Yes, and I think Rupert Murdoch wouldn't want to be having to testify in court, but equally, Trump wouldn't want to have to testify in court where he's cross-examined on his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. That would be just a nightmare for him. They've got various things in America where president can't be sued during their term of office and that sort of thing. So it could all just be put off until after the next election. Who knows? Maybe it will just peter out, but it doesn't show any sign of that yet.
Rod Tiffen is an emeritus professor in government and international relations at the University of Sydney. This episode was produced by Sydney Peed and Sam Dunn. Audio production by Cinnamon Nippard. Our supervising producer is David Cody. I'm Sam Hawley. Thanks for listening.